okay.
All right, we are back at the 2012 KOTESOL National Conference with, I feel like you're the most common guest, or a regular on the webcast here.
Well,
Peadar?
Actually, you didn't get me last year.
I did. Well, I wanted to give the audience a break. So now it's like the return of Peadar. It's very exciting.
Yes, and the hair, as everybody can see, is getting a lot longer. But it's going to get chopped off this summer.
Really?
Yeah, I'm planning on letting it grow out to the length needed for locks of love, and then I will be donating it to children with leukemia.
Oh, right on. It's a very good thing to do. I was actually thinking of cutting it for Halloween purposes, but that's a much higher cost.
Well, the Halloween purposes are fun too, although people will probably not recognize me.
Well, as a couple of long-haired gentlemen, I could get into a discussion of hair products and whatnot, but we should probably stay away from that.
The split-end discussion is probably not for everybody.
For me it's a frizz issue, but we won't go there. So we've spoken about, you're into a lot of alternative teaching strategies. Refresh us briefly on what we've talked about before with comics and whatnot.
Well, I came across a wonderful phrase from Thomas Farrell the other day, which is practical pragmatism, which really helps to describe my theory on teaching and my feelings on teaching.
What would the other kind of pragmatism be?
Pragmatism where you're doing it not so much for the practicality of the teaching, but doing it for the ease with which you can do it. I like the concept of practical pragmatism. The things we've talked about in the past, my comic books in the classroom presentation, which is a discussion of how to bring comic books into the classroom and use them as class resources, rather than just using them as extensive reading. My active listening techniques presentation, which looked at how to use listening in your classroom, again, in a way that students are being engaged with it and involved with the material, rather than just passively sitting there and the teacher pressing the button on the machine. And then what I'm looking at today is participationary techniques for the classroom, to encourage students to become much more active in the classroom and to overcome some of the affective barrier.
I want to ask you about today's presentation, but I want to follow up on some of your earlier topics. Comics, I remember discussing with you what a marketable opportunity that seemed to be for language learning comic books. Have you or anyone else made their millions yet?
Not millions yet. I am currently in negotiations with a distributor for a children's book series. And I hope more information of that will come out in the future. I can't give too many new details.
Well, you can break it here on Curry Bridge's KOTESOL webcast.
Yes, well, when I can. Okay. I'm nervous about talking about these things before they go into print.
All right, well, we'll look forward to following up on that next time. All right, and this is a topic that actually came up in a couple of earlier discussions today. Mm-hmm. How to get students more actively participating in class. What is the secret? Go.
There's no one secret, but the first thing you have to do is you have to set up a classroom where there's an opportunity for the students to participate. Too often teachers end up treating students almost as listening objects. The teacher stands and delivers the information down to the class, and the class absorbs the information and moves on. This model is sort of the lecture model approach. And to overcome this, teachers will often use what is best referred to as the beach ball method of checking with students, where they take a beach ball, which is a question, and they go, okay, who knows the answer to number 1? And they throw it out into the classroom, and one student picks up the ball and throws it back. The question is, in a class of 30 students, what are the other 29 students doing during this time? Are they being engaged with the material? Are they taking part of the material?
Are they dodging the beach ball?
Are they dodging the beach ball? I will happily put my hand up and admit I was a bad student in high school. And I learned that it was really, really easy to get by without having to participate. All you had to do was sit at the front of the class, not the back. Sit at the front of the class, smile, and follow the teacher with your eyes. And you would not be asked any questions, and you would just be left alone.
Do you do that?
Used to.
But as a teacher, because I feel like I pick on those kids.
Yep. The thing about it is, if you are setting up a scenario where they can do that, then you are enabling them to become disengaged. The trick to get students to participate is to set up tasks and materials that encourage them to work in a group, or to solve or attack a problem, or to become interested in what is going on.
So is there a corollary to the beach ball model?
Yes, there are a couple of things that you can do, and one of the most effective ones is called a hold-up, where instead of asking one student, you ask, have you ever seen the Korean TV show Golden Bell?
No.
Okay, in it, the students are asked true, false questions, and they hold up cards, X's or zeros. If it's true, 0. If it's false, X. But this can be incredibly useful as a teacher, because instead of asking one student what the answer is, you're taking a quick poll of all the students, and all the students are able to engage and show their answer, and do it in such a way that they're not scared about making a mistake with their peers watching. And the biggest thing that Korean students, or students in general, fear is being made to look foolish in front of their peers. So we try to remove that from the scenario and encourage the students to become a lot more active and a lot more willing to try these new techniques, or to try to engage with the material.
All right. I'm going to ask you a follow-up, but I want to check in with the chat room. Whoa. I think Peggy's having dinner. All right, so that's a very nice, practically pragmatic example. What else?
What else? Okay. Well, the thing that I'm going to be looking at in the presentation are one physical object, which are individual whiteboards and their use in the classroom, and one framework, which is the concept of think, pair, share. The physical object, the individual whiteboards, are cheap and easy to produce and allow you a lot of freedom within the classroom to do a lot of different techniques to encourage your students. Think, Pair, Share is more of a framework. What you're doing is you're encouraging students to think about the problem first, then work with a partner to either check their answers or check their understanding, and then moving it up in a sort of ripple effect from small group to larger group to larger group to larger group, which is almost the exact reverse of the beach ball scenario, where you're throwing it out and you're asking the students to interact as a huge group model in front of the entire class, and then you might break it down into smaller groups in turn. So those are the two main things that I'll be talking about in the presentation today.
All right, well, sounds good. If people want to check you out online, is this presentation online anywhere? If so, where?
The presentation is not currently available online.
Come on, Peadar. Participate, expand, throw the beach ball globally.
I'm working on my own webcasting abilities and everything.
Stay tuned. How's you're the Daegu KOTESOL dude?
Yes.
Still? How's that going? How's the chapter?
The chapter is doing very well. We've got a presentation next week from Michael Griffin on materials like teaching. And then our yearly swap shop will be in, so that would be June. Our yearly swap shop and dinner will be in July. We're taking August off for holidays, and then we're back in September with some more presentations from a variety of very gifted speakers.
And live webcasts on the horizon.
Hopefully, we are working on live webcasting our presentations so that more people can be part of Daegu Chapter.
Right on. As always, a pleasure. Oh, do you have one of the cool things about Peadar is he always has a unique business card for each conference.
Unfortunately, I forgot my business cards today, and it's really hard to come up with a design for participation techniques. Okay. But I'm working on it. Keep it in mind.
We're going to catch you at the international conference and check out those cards. All right. Well, always a pleasure. Thank you very much. Have a great presentation.